Hello and welcome to Pick Up the Mic, Harvest original podcast, and I'm Mike Reiner, lead pastor of Harvest. With me is the very sickly Will Land, the executive pastor, not feeling well today.
Yeah, it's like I can't remember. Was it Game 5 Chicago Bulls when Michael Jordan played with the flu? That's like me today.
So you're going to have one of your best games ever.
Yes.
You know, that was one of the most annoying.
Well, feeling very bad on
that game was so annoying to watch. Did you watch that game?
I don't even know if I was born yet.
I did watch that game. And you know what was annoying about it? Bob Costas. Bob Costas is
always annoying.
He is the most annoying during a game. He should never call a game. And I can't tell you how many.
Everybody thinks he's so nice, though.
Oh,
he's like America's nice guy.
Well, whether he's a good person or a bad person has nothing to do with the fact that I don't want to hear him talk when I'm watching a game. He was constant. Oh, he's got the flu. This is monumental. He's got the flu. All he said was he has the flu up and down the floor. Although we know he's got the flu. Now shut up. That's what I felt like saying to Bob Costas. Anyone else wants to say shut up to Bob Costas?
I do. In fact, I want to reiterate shut up Bob Costas, because as he got in his later career, he got a little too political for my liking.
Yeah.
You're a sports commentator, Bob. Shut up. I don't think you have anything wise to say about geopolitics. You
probably didn't like his politics either.
I hated his politics.
Yeah, so at least if he's going to go into politics, you should say something smart.
What is that? What is that syndrome where when you're really good at one thing, you think you're good at everything?
I don't know.
It has a title.
Diarrhea of the mouth.
I'm going to grok it right now.
Just keeps on running.
But that's Bob Costas, you know?
Yeah, that's
for some reason, all of a sudden, you become an expert on all things.
Stephen A. Smith is probably going to run for president. And I think he knows nothing. He's just a good talker. Well, in any case, I'm eating a chocolate Santa.
And I'm going to hear about it, because I hear about it every time you eat on the mic.
Nothing like a chocolate Santa. So today, you guys have been doing great out there in the land of wherever you happen to be and giving us Ask the Pastor questions. So we're going to have to do 2 shows because there's so many questions. And so we know they're still coming in. You could probably still get them in for our part 2, but we're going to do part 1 today and see how far we can get. If you still have questions, you can get them in. Also, like and subscribe. My wife says, I can't like and subscribe. I don't know how to do that because she listens on Spotify.
So that's follow.
All you can do is follow.
All you can do is follow.
On Spotify.
Can you give a rating? Can you give a 5, like a star rating?
Yeah.
I'm not a Spotify
so. Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
The name I was thinking of is the Dunning-Kruger effect, or Grok has corrected me. It said it's actually closest to the Nobel effect.
You know what? When people get rich,
Dunning-Kruger, it's an overestimation of your skill set.
Let's think about this.
Based on success.
How many people are experts on everything because they're rich?
Every actor ever.
Every actor ever.
Because you can cry on camera and pretend to be something you're not, which is almost like, I don't know, sociopathic. All of a sudden, I'm supposed to care about your opinion on...
Yeah, was it
economics?
Was it Matt Damon who made a movie about
fracking?
Yes. And he said it was supposed to take place like in Western Pennsylvania someplace. And in the movie, everyone's yard was catching on fire and things like that. Has your yard ever caught on fire? Do you know anyone whose yard's caught on fire?
I've owned a yard with gas wells in it, and it
didn't catch on fire.
Never on fire.
No one catches on fire. And then fire comes shooting out of their water spigot. I never had fire out of my water spigot. If I did, I'd find a way to siphon that gas so it wouldn't cost me as much to heat my house. Yeah, but he knows all about global warming. How about tech guys? They know everything. Tech billionaires are the ones.
Bill Gates made a really awesome piece of software in like the 90s.
He made Windows.
And now we should care about his opinion on everything.
Now he's vaccinating all the children of Africa.
Yeah.
Like he knows what he's doing. He has no idea. Politicians, they get elected to office. What are the skills that go in getting elected to office?
Grift.
You have to
kiss babies and shake hands.
You've got to be able to raise money.
Talk out of both sides of your mouth.
Well, yeah.
And I mean that almost in complementary
in a
way.
positive way.
You got to be like all things to all people. You're like trying to engender support
and not
from
take off
different
people
quadrants.
who disagree
yeah,
with you.
Right. It's
How do you do that?
you're
So you're a politician, so you're saying everything people want to hear. Then you get the job, and all of a sudden you're an expert on everything. Like, you know why our healthcare system is so screwed up in America? Because politicians are the ones who determined the system.
yes.
What the heck?
And
did
then
they
didn't
know?
and then didn't subject themselves to it.
They didn't. They don't have to. You know, I've got to tell you, when it comes to that, since I brought that up, I am so ready for the entire healthcare system to crash so we can get a reset. I
Yeah.
am spending so much money
Yeah.
on healthcare, and not just the monthly. I got a bill from the hospital for like $480. Now, no one went to the hospital. It was a test. Now, I'm already paying like $500 something a month, so my wife and I can have some sort of plan on the exchange. It's one of the golds. It's either gold
Yeah.
or silver or diamond.
Yeah.
It's a
I
fit.
have a gold plan.
It sounds so good.
No, it still costs you a ton of money.
So today, this year, or this month, I paid $1,000 for healthcare, and neither of us were sick.
Yep.
And we get nothing out of these people. Now, that didn't happen before the politicians who knew how to fix this fixed it.
They fixed it real good.
They fixed it real good.
and nobody in your legislature has to go on penny.org and
No.
buy a health policy.
No, almost no one working for the federal government ever has to worry. They get it all paid for, and they go, "What's the problem?"
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you don't have to pay all this money for nothing.
But
Now-
here we are.
But I wanted to say something about capitalism.
Oh.
We have
love capitalism.
on the Ask the Pastor podcast, we're going to start with a video about capitalism.
I sent this video to Mike.
And I liked it because I think
So I have seen this one in advance.
this is a comedian I'd never heard of before you sent this, and then he happened to be on Trigonometry, and I listened to about half the show and turned it off, and then Will sent me this video,
Yeah.
and I thought, how is it within 12 hours? Like,
He's the
I
internet's
hear
on
this guy
fire
twice.
with him. I don't know.
But now I thought, man, that was a brilliant way to say what he said.
And he's potty mouthed.
But don't worry, we're going to clean it up.
Yeah.
Sunshine can
He ain't no
magically
Christian.
get rid of it. And then after that, we're going to have questions from you guys that Sunshine is going to screen for us and read to us, and then we're going to wow you with our brilliance.
That's it. We know a little bit, but we think we know a lot.
Yeah, we
So
don't know a doggone
you gotta
thing,
listen
but
to
let's
us
go.
about
We're going to tell you
economics now.
everything you need to know. All right, so go ahead. Let's see this video whenever you're ready there.
Jimmy
Sunshine.
Carr.
Jim Carr.
What do I think about what?
Ticketmaster.
What do I think about Ticketmaster? I like them. What's not to like about Ticketmaster?
As a purchaser?
As a purchaser? Yeah, you know you can not go to the show. I always think like Ticketmaster always get like given a hard time. People going, "Oh, it was £400 to see Taylor Swift." Well, don't go.
I wanted to come see you.
You wanted to come see me? It looks like you did great. I don't know, you might object to capitalism, and Ticketmaster are a very good example of the capitalist market. And capitalism is a terrible system apart from all the others. Bunch of young people seem to have fallen in love with communism again. The is going. Communism's a great idea, wrong species. Right? Thing about capitalism is it kind of leans into what we are. We're quite self-interested. It works. What's your name?
My name's Sam.
What do you do, Sam?
Define communism for me.
Define communism from each according to their abilities to each according to their needs. Yeah, it just doesn't scale. Everyone is a communist. All of you are communists with your family. If you've got kids, you're a communist at home. Each according to their needs, you take care of them. Of course you do. And as things get wide in your local community, you might be a socialist. Try and help everyone out. And then you get up to nation state level and you go, yeah, those guys. There's always going to be an in-group preference. I'm sorry, but you're human beings, unlucky. The problem with American communism, which is, woke, is better described as American Marxism. And what it is instead of trying to redistribute wealth, which is a perfectly reasonable thing to want to do, they want to redistribute status. And that is a recipe for madness. Hang on. Sorry. Some young men looking at me like, yeah, great. We're going to need some jokes. No problem. I'm on it. Don't think I'm not on it, fellas. I'm going to say some very offensive things in a bit.
So, I love that video because, to bring some context to it, the Ticketmaster argument is Ticketmaster has been
gouging,
viewed as the villain for several years now because they have a relative monopoly. It's not a true monopoly, but yeah, they have the vast majority of access to venue booking for all sorts of things, and so people think they charge too much for tickets. The gouging, as you said, which has it's a negative tone, but yeah, you control the market and there's supply and demand. And his argument, which I think is one of the greatest arguments for capitalism, is like, no one's forcing you to pay that. If people would quit paying it, the price would drop. And that is the beauty. When people say free market, what you need to think of is nobody's pointing a gun at you. Like, theoretically, it's a win-win. If I offer to sell this phone to Mike for $500 and he gives me the $500 and I give him the phone, in theory, we're both winning because he preferred to have the phone more than the $500 and I preferred to have the $500 more than the phone. That's why we were willing to freely trade them. So it should be a win-win. And his argument is that, hey, if you didn't want to go to Taylor Swift that bad, then just don't go to Taylor Swift. There's not a terrorist at your house pointing a gun at you saying, buy this Taylor Swift ticket at this price. And if enough people said, I'm not willing to buy at that price, it would come down.
Yeah.
And so that's the free market argument.
Yeah, so supply and demand, if the demand for the tickets is high enough, people will pay that price or they don't go, which leads to the feeling of entitlement. Don't we all have a right to go see Taylor Swift? And that's where the answer is no. You know, you may wish you lived in a world where everyone had a right to see Taylor Swift, but that's not the world we live in. And then she came back with the communists.
Define communism, and he pulled it straight out of Marx, which I love. I think that is straight out of Marx's mouth.
Yeah, he didn't speak English, though, but yes, but right. So, yeah, to how was that?
From each, according to their ability. To each according to their need.
But it doesn't really work, even at scale, even as a family member. I consider a family more of a monarchy, without question. There is a king and a queen, and they have to do their negotiating between themselves in whatever that way they work that out. And they take the lion's share of the cash and make the lion's share of the decisions, and then they look at their subjects and decide how much the subjects are going to get and under what conditions.
We literally use king and queen language in our household. So
yes, so I think it's more of a monarchy, but I get his point. There's sharing going on, and then, but he's right. Human beings can't do Marxism because human beings are evil. So there's two problems that have historically happened when you try to redistribute wealth equally. One, the redistribution or always make redistribution. The guy who gives out the money always makes sure he gets his, and he tends to think he needs more than other people, and he tends to have friends and family, and he gives to them, and he's a sinner, so he's very subject to giving more to one person who gives him something back, like that phone or like a house up in the Alps. You know, okay, and he also loves his family better than your family. And so that's problem number one. In Russia, they took over all the farms and made them all national farms. And then what we'd call the patronage system. My brother always wanted to own a big industrial farm. Okay, now you're the owner. And what happens to the farmer? He's now much poorer, and he knows how to run a farm, and your brother doesn't know how to run a farm. And so production goes down. But the other problem is if you are a worker, you don't want to work to give it all away to someone else.
There's no incentive to excellence.
Or to even more. If I could grow a garden and feed myself, but then anything else that I had extra I could sell and make money on, that'd be good. I could eat and sell. But if I could grow a garden and feed myself, and that's all, I wasn't allowed to keep any of the money, I'm going to grow a smaller garden. And that's the way people are. If they can get by on that. And so it will never work. It has never worked. And it's theft. It's thou shalt not steal. You have no right to take my stuff just because I have more than you do.
There's a third issue too, which is getting a little more into the weeds, but if you're interested in such things, it's good to read up on a little bit. So most people in high school, maybe not anymore, have heard of Adam Smith, the invisible hand. There's an even deeper problem.
No one in high school has heard of Adam Smith.
I think that's where I heard of him. But
they didn't teach us in high school. We must have went to a smarter high school.
Yeah, anyway, he's an economist, famous economist, long dead. Talked about free market economies. Anyway, he had this concept of the invisible hand, which is how supply and demand balance to come up with prices. And it's like this naturally occurring phenomenon, which you're just talking about in Ticketmaster. One of the big problems with communism is when you try to do centralized price controls. So say the government said, well, I get to decide how much a Taylor Swift ticket is worth, or how much in Russia a rutabaga was worth. Like pick a crop. Mm-hmm. They would set... It was too slow of a feedback mechanism. It really caused tons of havoc in the USSR, where they would set the price too low, and because everybody wants to have cheap milk.
Yeah.
And then everybody would quit growing, quit having cows because they set it too cheap, and nobody wanted to produce milk anymore because they couldn't make any money. And then sometimes they set the price too high, and there's literally some animal pelt that they killed all the animals in the north because they set the price too high, and they had way oversupply of pelts. There was no supply and demand mechanism to control prices.
So what you're saying, in case any of that came out confusing, is the free market has a way of evening things out
by itself.
If there's trust in the system.
Yes, and if people are free.
So you have to have police to throw you in jail if you cheat.
Yes.
But otherwise, it should work. Right now, the beef prices are high in America, as you all know. Normally, we get prime rib for Christmas.
Yeah.
It was $22 a pound.
Oh.
I've paid as little as $7 a pound for that. And that's crazy.
I mean, we joke about hunting on here and stuff, but legit, me and several other people I know are shooting more deer because of the price of red meat.
Well, I might just have ham for Christmas this year. But so here's the deal. I was reading an article on the high price of cattle, and one of the problems is supply and demand now. Because forget of why the demand now is much higher than the supply, because I didn't study that portion, but it had to do with COVID. It had to do with the supply chain, and that disruption. It led us to not having enough supply. So now that all that's over, you think, well, we can fix this. Well, the way you fix it is you increase your supply of beef. That's it. And then the price will go down. What's the problem with that? Well, to increase the supply of beef, you have to not eat all the cows. But if I sell cows for a living, I've never been getting a better price. So I don't increase the size of my herd, or I could, but I'm going to do the math. It takes me this long to grow the Angus,
a cow. Yeah,
and it takes me this. If it more than equals what I'm going to make, okay, I'll do it. But if I can keep a small herd and make just as much money with less work.
Yeah, and it's less work to have less cows.
Yeah, so it's funny. The internet flattened almost all prices. It was really good for things that are mass produced. I would go in, when the internet was young, I'd go into Best Buy, which is now a business in our area. And if I had to buy an electronic device, I'd look on Amazon and I'd find the thing, and then I'd show the worker and I'd get the lower price. Because the internet flattens the price.
Price match guarantee.
And I can shop from anywhere in the world. But not so with concert tickets. or show tickets. Tickets used to be cheaper. Now they're through the roof. Why? Or sporting tickets. They go flying. Why? Because you had it's not like a stuffed animal. If everyone wants a stuffed animal, they'll make more. But you can't put more seats in the arena. And so that's all there are. And now all of a sudden, 4,000 people want 2,000 seats instead of 1,700 people who are local going and getting those tickets. And so now the ticket prices go up. Now, I think Ticketmaster, I don't have a lot of love for them because their fees are outrageous.
Neither do I.
But I'm no better than they are. Here's why. Back when this whole ticket thing was going fast towards online, I don't know, 10 years ago, 12 years ago, Steely Dan was coming to Pennsylvania here, and Steely Dan never tours, but they love musicians, so when they do, they're going to bring a whole bunch, and I would have loved to see Steely Dan. So I'm sitting on a Friday when I should be writing a sermon. I see it comes up on my screen that they're going to be here somehow. So I call, the moment the ticket's on sale, I call the box office, and I get 4 tickets. I get 2, but they're so expensive. They're like $100 each. That I said, I'll go ahead and get 4 and sell 2. And then I'll take my wife or maybe friends can go. Well, then I told my son, because I don't sell things. I said, Nick, could you sell these? I will give you like $20 for each one you sell. So he sold them and got me a couple $100 each. And then I said, I like Steely Dan, but I can always listen to them on Spotify.
I don't like it. I don't like him that much.
So I gave him the other 2. I said, sell these 2. I'll give you $50. So he made money. I made money. And I raked someone over the coals. I paid $100 and they paid like $350. So I'm as bad as Ticketmaster. Because if he's willing to pay it, I'm willing to sell it to him because it wasn't worth that much to me. So yes, capitalism.
But nobody was pointing a gun at that person's head and making them pay you that much.
If you don't want to pay, don't pay. I'll go listen. I like the music, and so that is so true. But I like how he said American Marxism is when you're trying to do that. That was a little complex. I still have to think about that with
redistribution of status versus redistribution of wealth.
Yes. Yeah. And anyway, that's a very interesting comedian. I enjoyed that. If you listen to him, he does drop the F-bomb at least 4 times that she's going to bleep out, and 1 word referring to genitals. So he ain't clean.
No.
But he's not. I mean, everyone uses the F word these days. Everybody. It used to be some people. Now, doggone it, everybody is using it. It's everywhere. And
I was hanging out with some 20-year-olds. This has been a while now. We were rabbit hunting, and they were blue collar, didn't go to college.
Dudes
in their 20s, so just out of high school, maybe 22, 23, and they're pipe players, right? It was like their what do you call them? Fill-in words. It was just
because you
effing.
Well, effing.
It was just
effing can be an adjective, an adverb, a verb, and a noun. Apparently,
they were not like trying to be offensive or
That's
even
just
like
how they talk.
Yeah, it was just like their fill-in. Word. It was interesting.
I remember one year.
I was hyper aware of it. I didn't correct them or anything. It's just weird.
I was giving someone a ride in my car, and home from work in New Jersey, and she actually, and we're both, neither of us are Christians, as far as I know she wasn't. At one point, she said, "Could you not use such language?" And I was thoroughly offended by her judgmental tone, because I didn't even notice I was doing it, and who does she think she is? And she said, if you're not going to, then you have to let me out of the car. And I actually drove her to where she wanted to go, but felt very offended.
You were affronted.
I was offended. But looking back,
I used to say the F word a lot.
Now I get it. It doesn't sound as good when you don't use it a lot yourself. So that's why I'm going to start using it on a regular basis. No, I'm not. Hey, so we got some questions for the pastors, and Sunshine.
And we're relinquishing control.
to Sunshine. She
I
can
think
make,
she's gonna throw them
She
at
can
us
make stuff up.
however she
She
wants.
can make stuff up. She could say, what's the best eyeshadow for a woman to use? This is what they asked you guys. All right. So what question have you got for us?
Okay.
Question number one.
Question number 1 is from Hannah Howard.
Hannah Howard.
She asked, will we get to see our dogs that passed away when we are in heaven?
We get to see our dogs. If your dog is a pit bull, no, because they're burning in hell where they belong. And most chihuahuas.
I second the pit bull comment.
No.
They're nice dogs.
Oh yeah, they're the best. It's how you raise them. But every time you read the news,
It's like 87% of
it's always
serious dog bites
I
are
just,
pit bulls,
just
and they're
last,
like 12%.
last
of
week
dog breeds.
again, or 2 weeks ago, a woman was dog sitting for her friend, and the pit bulls killed her. Now, she knew these pit bulls. She'd gone over there before. She had been friends with them.
Yeah.
But for some reason, the pit bulls decided, let's kill the babysitter. No, in all seriousness, which we are capable of, or in semi-seriousness, the answer is we don't know. But I think dogs are a gift from God, right? I don't know what your opinion on dogs is.
Well, they're definitely a gift from God. So
You don't
that's
have
an easy
any
one.
of the gifts at your house.
Not currently. I've been a dog man my whole life, but I'm in
But
a
some people
in
like
between
pets
right
better
now.
than others, and I don't judge that at all, really. If you like dogs, fine. If you don't like dogs, I don't care. I love dogs.
We anthropomorphize. It's a fancy word for make
Makes
human. Anthropos, right?
Yes.
It's human, and morph
Yes.
is we change into
Like
humans.
in anthropology, the study of mankind.
Yeah, so we project humanism onto a lot of things in this world.
Yeah.
I think we do that very heavily with animals. I am not convinced that their conscious experience has as much. They're not self-conscious like we are, like in the same way that we are. I don't see much of a need for like the continuation of your individual dog's consciousness into
Now,
the afterlife.
Hannah, listen. This is a heartless man sitting next to me.
I have a very beloved dog who's in the heavenly realm somewhere named Cooper, and I'll probably never see him again.
Yes, this is so. One view could be that no, you'll never see your dogs again. But truly, the Bible doesn't say you'll never see your dogs again. So I have a different theory. Hannah, you're going to like my theory, I hope. And that is first we have to notice the awesomeness of the dog and the awesomeness of the cat. And there's people who don't, hey, close your pie holes back there. We're recording. This happens sometimes. The awesomeness of the cat.
Which is oxymoronic. There are no awesome cats.
Wait a minute. Have you ever watched a cat hunt?
I've had several cats.
Naturally, they don't need to be trained. They can hunt a bird. They can hunt, and they're good.
Oh, I'm not against it. They're just not domesticated animals.
Well, wait a minute. Are they not? If you have mice in your house, what other woodland creature would you put in the house to catch the mice?
I'm
That
not
is
saying they can't catch mice. That doesn't make them domesticated.
Sure, it does. They won't.
I mean, lions catch deer.
Yeah, but put a lion in your house.
Leopards catch deer.
But if you put a leopard in your house, he'll eat you.
If your cat was big enough, he'd eat you
But
too.
he's not big enough. So he may jump on your lap and purr and be very friendly.
When he wants to be.
Well, the point is, it's amazing that you could put a predator in your house that doesn't eat you, but does, or outside your house, keeps the snakes away. And they're good looking. You got to admit, cats are nice looking. And dogs, we do anthropomorphize their friendliness onto us. They're not just friendly. They're friendly with indiscriminately friendly. They're like Santa. You know, Santa is really morally useless because he doesn't have a list and he doesn't check it twice. Crappy kids who behave badly all year long get just as much loot as good kids. Depending on how much their parents make, sometimes they get more loot.
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
So he ain't checking no lists. Any house he can get into, he's going to give you stuff. He is a permissive and morally corrupt influencer of children, and he probably needs to go to jail. After all, he breaks and enters many people's houses. Well, your dog's kind of like that. Your dog, remember the old story, Hitler had a dog. that any dog worth his salt would bite Adolf Hitler. Don't you think a dog ought to bite Adolf Hitler?
No.
But no, he went up to him and he said, "Give me, I like you," and he made Adolf Hitler feel good about himself. So dogs are not exactly discerning, but it sure is nice having dogs around. I love my dogs. They get so happy when I'm going to give them a biscuit. They dance.
But are you going
and
to
jump.
see them in heaven? You're going to see.
Well, first, have you ever watched my dogs run? They run. It's beautiful to watch. And I like my dogs. I love my dogs.
This seems all like distraction.
No, it isn't.
I liked my dog too.
So no way I'm going to get somewhere.
Am I going to receive
Wait.
Cooper?
Who gave us these gifts of dogs and cats?
God.
Exactly. And if he loves me enough to give me a dog and a cat here, why wouldn't he give me a dog and a cat in the new earth?
Yeah.
And if I like the particular dog I had, maybe he gives me that dog back.
Maybe. I'm not saying. This is where we're getting a little in the weeds.
So Hannah,
in the Garden of Eden,
I have hopes for you and me and our dogs.
in the Garden of Eden, it seemed like the
Don't listen
animals
to this
were
guy.
not afraid of people, right? There's not the fear of man. I do imagine we'll have relationships with animals in the new heavens and new
Yes.
earth, even beyond
Oh,
dogs.
I think so.
And I might even receive a dog that reminds me of or looks like my previous dogs. My question is, did that dog have a continual experience? We talk about
No,
going
I'm
to sleep
not
in
saying,
the twinkling of an eye.
not-
I'm not going to die, right? I'm going to.
I'm not saying the dog gets raptured, and I'm not saying the dog is
I'm
in
saying
heaven
does
or hell.
and
I'm
does
just saying God can reproduce my dog and give him back to me if he wants to.
That I believe, but I don't know
Well,
that.
why wouldn't he want to?
I don't know that my Cooper has had a continual personal experience of existence right now, ongoing, waiting for me to get.
I'm not
to heaven.
saying that.
Okay,
I
that's
didn't
what I'm-
say they have eternal souls.
That's what I'm saying. I
God
don't know.
could just re-raise them.
But yeah, I might see Cooper 2.0 in
I don't
heaven.
think there's
know.
any fat dogs in heaven.
Or maybe they're all fat. I don't know.
No, they're not fat in heaven.
Anyway.
Because maybe your dog's fat now,
Animals
God gives
in
him
heaven-
back to you. I think he'd be in perfect shape.
You know, I was talking about this with our buddy
They
Isaac.
would. Don't you think they'd be in perfect? And they wouldn't smell.
Feminine
And
Isaac.
none would have that breath that smells like fish.
I'll have
Sometimes
all
a
you guys
dog-
know.
Yes.
It's not just on the podcast that we make fun of Isaac. We were making fun of him in the pastor's meeting today as the feminine pastor. So
It's only fair.
We keep it going even behind the
It's
scenes.
only fair.
He and I were talking about this and laughing together. And I think it's just because of our personalities. I've never considered this question because presumed in the question is I'm going to heaven. And I often find myself like, sometimes it's like never occurred to me because I'm always more concerned like, am I going to get to heaven?
So then
and if I could get to heaven, then whether there's my pet there or not, I don't really care.
So-
I'll be happy.
So Sunshine Will says to heaven, is my dog getting to heaven? And heaven comes back, well, we have good news about your dog.
Yeah, right.
Your dog's actually dancing up there right now. We're not so sure about you.
And I just think that speaks to Isaac's and I's insecurity.
So-
but it's funny. It's like I've always been too preoccupied with my own.
Yeah, that's a
and
good point.
Then
I'll
to even
start-
spend time.
Once I'm sure I'm there, Hannah, I'll start worrying about my dog. That is Will's answer to you, hon. So I don't know if that helped, but I sure had a good time talking about it. What's the next question?
Okay, the next question is from Russell Fountain. And he said in Revelation 21:1, it says there will be a new heaven and new earth. So does that mean that the heaven that exists now will end like the earth?
Well, if it's new, yes. Let's move on.
Well, it depends on what you mean by end.
Or it also depends on what you mean by heaven, really. But what do you mean by heaven? I think, Russell, to be serious, again, well, I'm not capable of serious today. I'm enjoying myself too much, but I think I can be capable of truth a little bit. The word heaven in the Bible, I don't think new heaven and new earth, in the reference you have there, has to do with what we call heaven. I think it means the sky. And if you think, well, you're wrong, well, that's fine. But I
The
do.
first heaven and the second heaven.
What's that?
It's not the third heaven.
It's not the third heaven. That's right. Paul actually said he went to the third heaven. And the question is, what is that? Most likely, because the word heaven in Greek is, here I'm going to break the Greek out on you, is auranon. I don't even know how to say it. Auranon. Auranon. So, and it means sky as well as heaven. So if you look up in the sky,
So first is clouds, first heaven.
that blue sky you see,
Second heaven is stars.
stars up in the heavens,
Third heaven is spiritual realm.
is some place where God is probably what Paul meant by, that's probably what he meant. So when it says new heaven and new earth, it's really saying new sky, new earth. And
Remaking of the universe.
and it
as
also says
modern
there's-
man would talk about it.
that's right. The rest of that verse says, and there's no longer any sea. And that's a hard for me too, because I'm not sure why that is in there.
Yeah, we don't get the surf.
Well, it doesn't say there's no water, and the word could also mean lake, like the Sea of Galilee. Why isn't there? But it's still, you're combining the sky, the earth, and the sea in one verse, and I don't think he means the place where God lives. In fact, where the place where God is. I mean, space and time, can we call it a place? I don't even know how to think of that.
Well, it's outside of both of those.
Or the reality is, as far as we can tell from the scripture, you're going to live in a place called earth, and you're going to have a body, whatever that, what's the word, ephemeral thing is up in the heavens, wherever God is. There's no reason to think that's going to be your experience. In fact, the scripture goes the other way, is that the Son of God, since he became human, will come down and dwell with us. We're not going to go up and dwell
In the throne room.
Yeah, we're not going to be everywhere at once like God is. We're not going to be omnipresent, and we're going to be in one place at a time on an earth. And so probably the new heaven, my friend, is just the sky. And that's it. And that could be the stars and whatever's up there.
So I think you also have to think about, what does it mean to end? Like, old to new. What's your take on transformed or destroyed? Or
Well, because of what Peter says, he says the present is being reserved for fire. I could look that one up. 2 Peter 3:13 says, since all these things are to be destroyed in this way, what sort of people ought you to be, looking for and hastening the coming of the day of God, because of which the heavens will be destroyed by burning and the elements will melt with intense heat. But according to his promise, we're looking for a new heavens and new earth in which righteousness dwells. So you have matter being somehow destroyed and then rebuilt.
kind of, I don't know why my brain goes to the Noahic flood. God
Water.
promises not to flood the earth again except next time by fire, right?
Yeah, well, but the day of the Lord will come like a thief, in which the heavens will pass away with a roar, and the elements will be destroyed with intense heat, and the earth and its works will be burned up. 2 Peter 3:10.
So there you go.
Yeah.
Destroyed.
So you're gonna get if you
So
want a
new
sky.
means brand new.
Yeah, if you want a sky, we're gonna have to make a new one. And I think he's saying sky. I do not think he's saying. When we think of heaven, we have all these thoughts in our mind, but we really have no idea what heaven is. Let's just call it the presence of God. And then when the Lord returns, you get a body, and that body goes to a place. Yeah, that's the best I can do with that.
I like it.
But I haven't seen it yet myself, Russell. I'll let you know when I see it, but then you'll already know the answer too.
Okay. The next one.
That was 2 heaven questions. That's
yeah,
pretty
the
cool.
next one. Well, the next one is
Will my
similar.
dog be burned up by fire? No.
It's from Derek Rimmel. He first compliments you both a lot on a bunch of stuff, but
What a
then
good
kind
guy.
of is just
I know.
asking
Thank you,
about.
Sucking up to us. And
He's
yeah, you're right. I was
asking-
thinking about the 2 Peter 3 quote.
He's asking about the rapture,
The rapture.
and if there is one, and if so, when does it take place, and do people get left behind, and just kind of like all of that.
It's like he just wanted Mike up on a soapbox.
So there was
There's this thing called historic premillennialism,
So
which
there
is the
was-
only correct view of the Bible.
That's right.
And this means that
Thank you.
there is no pre-trib rapture, you big dumb idiots. And no, I'm sorry.
Thank you. You're doing well till you said the big dumb idiots. There was a movie.
Yes, because you've never said
There's
big
a
dumb
movie
idiots.
called no. I wouldn't have called you a big dumb idiot in that moment.
That's correct.
Other
Yes.
people are idiots.
Correct.
Other people are big, and some people are dumb. I try to
Yes.
spread those out. You know.
I got you.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's a
Often
movie.
you can be an idiot and be very skinny. There's a movie called Left Behind, or a book called Left Behind, that was very popular in the 90s,
Yeah.
and in it, T.D. Jakes, the preacher, who by the way,
Don't listen to him anymore.
he's a oneness Pentecostal. He doesn't even believe in the Trinity, but he is a powerful preacher. And T.D. Jakes,
He's a big black guy, right?
yes,
He's gone even further off the deep end.
I
of
don't
oneness
even know.
stuff.
I don't even know what he's doing these days. I think Emmett Smith used to go to his church.
He's into whiteness and blackness stuff now.
No, not TD.
When all the
is he?
2020 stuff happened, yeah.
Black Lives Matter. In any case, he made a bunch of videos on VHS tapes,
Nice.
so that after all the Christians left the earth, people could play these on VHS tapes and get saved, and that's exactly what happened. Gotta love T.D. Jakes for thinking ahead. There was a time when all I ever wanted to hear people preach about was the return of Christ, because I thought it's so urgent. How come we don't talk about this more? And now that I'm a pastor, I thought I try to point it out on a regular basis, but he's coming back. Okay. What happens when he comes back? According to, let's see, I got to hit my search key to make sure I can find the right verse. Is there a rapture? By rapture, we mean what? Can you define rapture?
Lifted up into the sky.
Yes.
I don't know what the actual definition of the word is.
Well, it means taking up.
There you go.
Taking up.
I got it.
And
through context clues.
let me look this up.
Every time I think of the rapture, I used to be, well, I'm still, in theory, a fan of American Dad, an adult cartoon made by the same guy as Family Guy. It's also not clean. It's just as scandalous as Family Guy, maybe a little less so. But they have an episode where the rapture happens, and it's just awesome. The main character, obviously they get left behind. He's just like fighting demons, and it's like this. It's a funny episode.
Yeah, I'm glad I didn't see it. So I saw a movie once with the rapture in it that was made by Hollywood, and it was crude and dumb. Paul says in 1 Corinthians 15:51, "Behold, I tell you a mystery. We will not all sleep, but we will all be changed. In a moment, in the twinkling of an eye, at the last trumpet. For the trumpet will sound, and the dead will be raised imperishable, and we will be changed. For the perishable must put on imperishable." So we know that a moment will come, in a twinkling of an eye, at the last trumpet. The dead will be raised, and then those who are alive and remain will likewise be changed. Now the raising up comes from Thessalonians. "For this we say by the word of the Lord, that we who are alive and remain until the coming of the Lord will not precede those who have fallen asleep. For the Lord himself will descend from heaven with a shout, with the voice of the archangel, and with the trumpet of God, and the dead in Christ will rise first." Right? And that's the get up, rise. Let me see. Anastemai. Anastasia means resurrect. So rise. The dead in Christ will rise first. And then those of us who are alive and remain will be, and this is where we get the rapture from this word in Greek, harpazo. It means snatch away or take away. We will be caught up together with them in the clouds to meet the Lord in the air. And that word is air. That's all it means. And so we shall always be with the Lord. So there will be a caught up moment for all of us. The question is when and what comes after. There are those who believe that after that, there's 7 more years of history to go, and then Jesus comes again. So he comes, and then he grabs the church and all the believers who are dead, and he goes back to heaven. And then 7 years later, he comes back. Two second comings. Kind of 2A and 2B. I don't believe that that's true. I don't think that's a biblical standpoint. But if it is...
And we talked about this before. We brought a whole diagram up
Oh, yeah.
comes from Daniel.
We were awesome.
There's this missing
don't
7
wanna
years
miss this.
in the decade of
Oh,
7
It
years.
was so good. And,
Our beautiful producer Sunshine's going to look up that episode number for
and
us.
maybe put it in the
show notes
so you can listen.
But we went deep into this.
Yes, we did. But I personally,
Dispensationalism.
that was I am a historic premillennialist, which means I believe there will be a millennial kingdom before there is a new heaven and new earth. Just like the dispensationalists, but I do not believe that we will be raptured before the end. We'll be raptured at the end. He descends, we meet him, and we all come down together. Now, I think another part of that question is the implication, well, what if we're all gone? Who's going to preach the gospel?
That is part of the question, as I remember it.
So the answer is nobody. There's nobody left to preach the gospel. But there's T.D. Jakes CDs or a VHS tape somewhere. But you'd think there's enough on the internet, right? You can go look it up for yourself. If I'm wrong, you're just going to have to search the net. I don't plan on preaching any messages and saying, let's save these. Do not open until all the Christians disappear. I'm not going to do it.
Because you think Jesus will be back and there'll be no need to preach at that point.
Well, because, I don't think it's necessary. Plus, if I'm wrong and there is a 7-year tribulation where the gospel has to go out, Jesus has a plan for that. And so I'm not going to worry about that. But I think the main point to preach is be ready.
Yeah.
Be
That's
ready.
the Thief in the Night passage, is be ready.
Yeah, be ready.
Hey, show us this picture. This is hilarious.
It won't come
no.
up. Did you break the computer,
they see it?
Sunshine?
No. Hold on.
No one can see it.
That's,
Oh, bummer.
wait,
It was
I'm
Stan,
You can turn your picture around.
the CIA agent, American dad,
Oh, great.
on a motorcycle with Jesus.
And why is that good? That's not Jesus. That's just some guy with a beard.
I know. And they're fighting the Antichrist. It's just a hilarious episode.
Yes, I'm sure it is. It sounds like, do not watch this show, children. It's probably like, that's the motorcycle that Peter Fonda
Yes.
rode
Yes.
in what was that movie?
It's before my time,
to
but
be wild.
anyway.
Yeah. Thank you for that. Thank you for
on,
that.
it's
That
funny.
was very edifying. I don't watch Family Guy.
I haven't watched it in a decade.
It was my children's generation.
It just
Shows you
came
my
into
age.
my memory.
It shows you my age. I don't know it.
All right, next question. Next.
Okay. The next question
Nephilim.
was a comment on YouTube.
I got a joke for you. 3 Nephilim walk into a bar. No, anyway, go on. Sorry. Go ahead. Hey, I did hear. Jaron asked me this. He says, what do you get if you cross a Jehovah's Witness and an atheist? Someone who knocks on the door for no reason. I like that.
That is funny.
Anyway, go on.
It's from Jenna Walker, and she made a comment on the episode. I don't remember the number, but the title was "Is Childless Marriage a Sin?" And she asked, "Can we please do a segment on raising men and letting your sons date and who they should marry?"
Letting your sons date. Letting your sons date?
That's how she worded it.
This from Jenna?
Yes.
And who they should marry.
Yes.
Well, first off, raising them.
Mm-hmm.
Well, raising them is good. The number one way to raise a son is be sincere and do your best not to fight with his mother too much in front of him. And don't...
It's pretty simplistic advice.
Yeah, and don't let him talk back, but don't micromanage him or control him with your tongue. But in other words, you want to raise a decent guy. Let me start somewhere, just because if we start anywhere, we'll get into the whole thing. If you have a daughter, or if you're a young lady, the worst guy to date is the guy who tries to control you.
Yeah.
Because
jealous, controlling.
You do not want a jealous guy. You don't want a guy. Who are you looking at? Who are you talking to? What was that guy doing? And you do not want someone who's always angry at you and always blaming you. So you don't want to raise a son who does that. Right?
That's good logic.
So teaching your children, when they say, all children say it's not fair. You don't have to train your kids to say it's not fair. They will say it's not fair at some point. And your response you can't let them push you around. You're like, okay. You really have to take it. Sucks to be you personality sometimes. Most of the time.
Life's not fair.
Life isn't fair. And one of the sayings we had at my house was, if life was fair, we'd all go to hell, because that's what we deserve. But instead, there's mercy. There are times as a dad or a mom, you're going to get it wrong, but you're doing your best. And your kid may think it's not fair. It's okay for you to say to the kid, you might be right and I might be wrong, but I'm doing the best I can, so shut up and go to your room. Don't try to make the kid's life fair. Just do your best to be fair. If he's happy, he's happy. If he's not, he's not. Just do your best to be fair to your son. And let him be. Make your kids go to church, but don't make them believe. Go to church yourself, believe yourself, live in front of them, but let them know. Don't tell them not to believe, of course. Tell them, you better believe you're going to go to hell. That's what I told mine, and they fell for that, and then they're saved, and that's good. It worked. I told the oldest one, she told the next one. The third one, I don't know how we got it through, but she didn't stand a chance. There were 4 of us against 1, but make them go to church. Don't make church horrible for them, though. I mean, I used to make my kids go to church. As long as they were quiet, I didn't care what they did. They didn't have to pay attention, and I was the preacher. They just had to go. I didn't make them go to youth group. They want, fine. Don't want to, fine. But you're going to go to church all the way up through college. So you're teaching them there's a regular way to do things. You have to respect your parents. No talking back. If you want a son who's going to treat a woman well, teach him not to talk back based on the age of the person he's talking to, mostly. Don't let your kid talk back to his teacher. Don't let your kid talk back to older people in public. Don't let your kid talk back to older people in your family. I know you don't all do this, but use terms of respect of some kind for older people in the family. Force people to use the word Mr., Miss, Mrs., Uncle, Aunt. You want a respectful kid who can control his tongue and knows life isn't fair. And it's okay. Sometimes if sister got more than you, we're not going to sit and fight about it. That I think is how you raise the boy. And try not to fight with his wife, with his mother too much, or vice versa. If you're a woman, like Jenna, you clearly are, be a good wife. Don't belittle the dad or tear him down in front of the son. He won't pick a good woman if you do that.
Yeah, and then I have no sons. I read a bunch of books, though, in preparation because I assumed God would give me a son. He has not at this point in time. Maybe he still will. We're adopting.
He might give you many sons.
So everything I'm about to say is somebody else's wisdom that I have yet to put into practice. But I have a daughter.
Yes.
And a lot of it applies.
Well, you want a good son to find her.
Yeah, and so you have to. I read a great book that it made sense to me that things you want to watch out for in a son. I love this saying. It's from a different pastor, but it's applicable in almost all parts of life. You're on a road and there's a ditch on both sides of the road. There's an extreme over here and an extreme over here. And for boys, like, the one extreme is the machismo side, where, it's all dominance. He's a brute. He's, all the things you think of for machismo, which is not good. And then there's the other side, which is like too meek and timid and effeminate. Like, you don't want an effeminate boy. And so it's steering your son to the middle, which a lot of the things you said
you don't want
come into play there.
You don't want a wimpy boy either.
And when you're the mom, you just naturally want to coddle your son.
Comfort.
Yeah. Coddle's too negative.
Coddle is a little rough, yeah.
Yeah. Comfort.
Jenna is not a coddler, or Jenna.
I'm not even just
She's
speaking of Jenna.
comforter.
But I've seen this. I've seen this with mothers in my own extended family, like fear of risk for the boys, wanting to de-boy the boys, right?
Yeah, don't de-boy the boy.
If you look at, I thought this was a great exhortation. If you look at the men of the Bible who are held up the most, they're generally troublemakers for righteousness in their day. Like, whether it's Moses or Elijah or Jesus or Paul or like that. They're not troublemakers in the bad way, but they're not soft, go along if it's not the right thing to go along with
kind of guys.
And so you want a son who knows how to respect authority, knows what positions are due honor, knows how to shut his mouth, like you said.
Doesn't whine all the time.
And doesn't whine about it being unfair. But then is also like has a backbone. On the other side, has a backbone, knows when to stand up.
Yeah, so one of the things you could do is teach him not to hit a girl. This is controversial because people always say, well, what if she's bigger than you? What if she's got a stick? What if she's got a gun? Okay, look. If you're fighting Kung Fu girl who's got guns and knives, okay, maybe you can hit her. But for the most part.
Or if she's like drowning your children,
yes,
then by all means,
as a
hit
rule,
her.
Never hit a girl. Always show respect there, too. Teach him that it's manly to restrain yourself, but you're still manly. And then always teach him, but always protect the girl.
Yeah.
Teach him the other way. If your mom is carrying something in, you carry it. Why? Because she's your mom.
Because she's your mom.
And begin to teach him that respect.
Controlling your emotions is the manly thing, not flaring your anger as a demonstration of manliness.
You don't want to.
Like,
Our society makes women out of men because it says, we should do this with Sunshine here. Sunshine, talk about men. Should they be crying? Should men cry?
In general?
In general.
I think sometimes it's okay.
Sometimes
I
okay.
don't think they should be just like crying all the time.
Oh, I like that. She's sassy.
yeah.
But I think sometimes it's okay. I don't think it's wrong.
I think it's okay for a man to cry. But
If
not
it's a funeral or about his children. No.
or
It's like,
I think, if you're
or if it's a Tom Hanks movie.
well, I don't know about Tom Hanks. I was thinking when you're watching The Untouchables and when Sean Connery gets killed.
Yeah,
That's
I
a
was thinking
rough
about
moment.
Saving Private Ryan.
But when you're not supposed to cry?
People offend you?
No, when you have something to get done.
Oh, yeah.
It's a man's job to not cry
When the bullets are flying.
when the crap hits the fan. No, we're not crying now. We're not crying now. We're acting now. We're moving now. And it's not okay. A man has to learn to control his emotions because God made him a man. Now, people say, don't repress him. He doesn't express himself. He's going to... Stop it. Just stop it. It's okay if a man doesn't cry that much or shows emotions that much the way a woman would. It's okay also to cry at times. There's nothing wrong with that. But there's a difference between... let me say it this way. There's a responsibility in being a man. You have to act at the time you're supposed to act. And you can't let your emotions stop you from acting. And that's how God made you. And so you're putting all this into a kid, right? And you're not doing emotional blackmail at home. No emotional blackmail.
What's emotional blackmail? I know what you mean.
If you really respected me as your mother, you wouldn't do that. If you really, if you were a good son, you'd really do this. I'm blackmailing you emotionally. I'm making you feel bad to get you to do or be something you didn't do or you're not. That's not fair. You can't do those things.
What do you do instead?
Well, if I want you to do a thing, I'm going to say do that thing.
And then
If
obedience is expected in this household.
And I'm not going to judge your heart, though, also. Parents can judge the hearts of their kids, and they shouldn't. You can't see his greedy little heart. You can only see his behavior. And you're human, too. You can't be disappointed in your kid when they don't do things that are immoral. If they're not doing immoral things, they're not quitting on the team, they're not, maybe your kid ain't the perfect kid you wish he was, but he's your kid. So
that's a good one. Don't let him quit the sport team.
Oh, you can't let him quit.
If he signs up, he's got to follow through.
He's got to finish.
Follow through.
Or she. I just heard my daughter stand strong against my granddaughter who had to be in a play, but she wanted to go to a party. Well, you got to go to this practice. Well, the practice is stupid. I don't want to do it. I never wanted to be in the play anyway. I don't care. You're going to miss the party. You're going to go to the play. People depend on you. Wah!
Yeah, I took piano lessons for a really long time growing up, and there was a time when I wanted to quit. Like, I was crying, and I just wanted to quit, and my mom did not let me quit.
Now,
and thank goodness.
Did
I
you have a
regret
deal?
quitting.
Did you have a deal? Like, I think
What
you
do you
got to
mean?
cut a deal with your kids. I mean,
I know that's not the story for everyone. Like, sometimes it's just
like,
not what you're supposed
if
to
your
do.
kid wants to play piano at 8, you say, okay, I'll get you lessons. Do you make them,
Do it for the rest of his life.
14 years old? He's still, I've hated this for 6
No.
years.
No, my dad's thing was the season. If you
Yeah.
signed up for a sport and you find out I actually hate soccer,
Finish
he's
the
like,
season.
well, you cannot do it next year. You're not quitting midway through.
Yeah, so you want to add all this. But now let's get to the nuts and bolts. This is how do you
Dating.
raise a son? One thing, I'm going to give you guys who have little kids advice, and you don't have to take it, but I guarantee you it'll be a mistake if you don't. Ready?
I'm ready.
You tell your kids the rules of dating long before they think about dating. And I'm going to tell you why that works.
We already started.
In my house, you have to be 16 years old. 16 years old. If you were one of my daughters, I was dating the person first. I had to go on a date with a guy who was pursuing you before you could go on a date with him. So, and then I had my own plan. The point is, they knew this when they were 10 and 11 and 12 and 13 and 14 and 15 and 16. My one daughter, Michael, who I think I've told the story, I'm not going to go too deep into it, but she had someone she thinks was her boyfriend when she was 15 for a year. And I said, it's not your boyfriend. It is my boyfriend, Dad. Everyone at school knows it. I don't care. Are you holding hands? No, because you won't let us. Right. Are you going on dates? No, because you won't let us. That's right. He's just some boy. And that's the way it works. She still argues with me to this day. That's fine. You're not dating him till he's 16, and then I date him first. By the way, he never made it. The summer before they were both 16, whatever it was, turned into nothing. But the reason why you do that, and this person needs to be a Christian.
Do you apply the same thing? So say, how'd you do it with Nick?
Okay, one thing at a time.
Okay.
It's different with sons. Has to be a Christian. You do not date someone who's not a Christian. Then there are rules that have to come into the dating. You shouldn't be touching anyone in any part covered by a very conservative...
A wrestling singlet.
Even longer. Like if you can get down to above the knees of the girl. Like your great-grandma's bathing suit. If it's covered by that, your hands don't need to touch it on either person. Period. And you're not going to be alone. These sorts of things. But they knew the rules beforehand, but it has to be a Christian. Don't even talk to him if he doesn't share your faith. It's not going to be a thing. Now, the reason, if you wait until they're 12, 13, 14, and they start to date, it's too late. You didn't give them rules. They don't have any rules. The rules they have are internal. And now you're dealing with them bringing home unbelievers and boys you don't like. So, and then there's a way of doing the interview. I think I told you, interviewing your daughter's date. I took that.
I bought the book as soon as you told me.
Yeah, and that good move. And then did you read it yet?
I haven't. It's on my shelf.
You'll
She's
enjoy
only
it.
3, so
Well, you don't have
procrastinated
much
a little
time,
bit.
but you can get moving. I already have a relative.
It's short too. It's only like a short little book.
It's how to interview your daughter's date or something. But then with my son, my requirement was she has to be a Christian, same bathing suit rules, but you have to go and approach her father first.
Yeah.
And ask permission to date. I can't. And you say different rules for husband and wife, for boy and girl? Absolutely. Because boys and girls are not the same creature. For the daughter, it was...
Yeah, and it would be weird for you, the dad, to go on a date with a young lady.
Yeah, I wasn't about to do that.
Yeah.
It would be really weird. I
That would
never
be
thought
weird.
of that. That's a good point.
Creepy Mike over there.
It would be not good. I got a date. My son would be like, no, Dad, you're not going there. Actually, my son, it's funny, he made a date for the snowball, which is something they do here in Katanning with someone, and I didn't know he made a date with her. I said, what do you mean you're going? Did you ask her father? No. Why didn't you ask her father? I don't know, but I know him. Well, why didn't you ask him? He doesn't want me to ask him. How do you know? Because he doesn't. That's not what they're like, Dad. I'm like, you're not going out with her till you ask her. And he's like rolling his eyes. He can't believe that he stuck with me as his dad. And he asked her.
Asked
him.
her father.
Yeah, and that guy goes to our church to this day. He didn't end up marrying her, but he did ask. And that guy's response was, I thought you were taking her. I am. Then why are you asking me? How to make a 16-year-old feel really small. But anyway, but then.
So you had the same 16 rule for your son?
Yes, yeah. I said 15, but I guess they was around 16 when
16.
the snowball, whenever the snowball happened. But he had to be 16, and she had to be a believer, and then there you go. Because see, a guy physically, obviously, is going to want to physically pursue a woman, and there's nothing wrong with wanting that, but they need self-control. The woman is going to want to be loved by the man, and so, without question, in 99 cases out of 100. The woman wants to give as much to the man as her conscience allows so that he'll love her. Period. And for many Christian couples, that means inch by inch.
They get closer every day.
Yes, and then they get too close.
To
and then there's guilt and
petting
shame. And it ruins the relationship because it now becomes a place of shame and secrets. And instead of a free relationship, we're now dealing with this. And then if they are going to get married, they go before the pastor, and if he's me, I'm going to say, how have you done in this area? Right to their face. And I've had people say, I was going to lie, but they can't help it. They're going to tell me the truth. And you don't want to go through that. But I do think there's something to it. A dad can say, no, he's not right for you. There's something to that. Very often, a young man is a bad choice for a woman, a girl. And if she knows the rules going in, she's more likely to go along, especially if you're a decent dad.
How does this mom know if the girl's a bad choice for her son?
Well, I'm not a mom. Perhaps a mom could say, before you take her out, I need to meet with her. We're going shopping or something.
Yeah.
Why not?
Why not?
Why not?
Girl on girl.
But there are no rules. There are no rules. There are no. I don't have rules in the Bible that say if do it the way I just said it. It's just common sense to me. You can make different rules if you want to.
But don't be timid. Like everything I'm hearing from you is, don't abdicate this responsibility to guard your children from dating. Feel free to demand.
If you do abdicate, who determines the rules for your child?
Themselves.
The culture.
Do
you really want this culture determining the rules? There are no rites of passage left for American teenagers. They don't have anyone telling them. I should say it this way. The culture itself does not give a healthy path to marriage.
Right.
And or to manhood or to womanhood. They don't take the boy out when he's 15 and let him go hunting with his shirt off and kill something and say, okay, now you're a man. And they don't do anything for the woman. There's no quinceañera or nothing. You just go figure it out. And it's a really horrible way to choose a mate.
Yeah. So, Sunshine, this is Jenna, right? Mm-hmm. Sounds like if Jenna, and I don't know Jenna or her personality type, if a mom was so inclined, though, and had the personality where she felt comfortable doing this, sounds like if you want to, by all means, demand that you get to meet the girl first.
I meet the girl first.
Demand that your son talk to her father.
Yes. You should.
Establish rules.
You should do it because until that kid's 18, you're allowed to make all the rules you want. Now, you shouldn't make them for rules' sake. But if you teach your children from a young age, this is what you're going to do, and you stick to it, they'll do it. Because if they like you, if they trust you as a parent, and that means good parenting. But why not do it? Now with the boys, get that book. It'll give you the guidelines on what to ask him when you take him out on a date or this is interview. All that stuff about cleaning your gun and that's stupid. It's fun to joke about, but you're not going to shoot him, and if you are, you're a whack job, and we don't want to date your daughter anyway. So it's just dumb. it doesn't get you anywhere. Many Christian parents just let their kids make their choice, and they think that's the right thing. And I see the wreckage.
So I've heard two general principles here for dating and marriage. For both daughters and sons, I hear a general message of early intervention. If you wait till they're teenagers, you're behind the curve.
Or whatever puberty comes. Because if with girls it can come at 11, 12. Yes.
So be talking about dating and the
7,
rules
8,
of romantic interaction early. And I've seen that. I have a family who's very close friends with me. They have like 9 kids. They're one of these Colleen type families. You met them. It's the Catholic family.
Right.
And they talk very openly about romantic stuff with their kids at a young but appropriate age, 8, 9, 10. Like all their kids were aware of like sex, and it was reserved for marriage, and the desire for romantic relationships is good, but it's only meant for this direction. And they all seem to be very well-adjusted teenagers. They have a 20-year-old now.
Yes, and you, believe it or not, your kids want that. You might think, well, my kids might not like me. No, they will trust you. The time to teach your kids about how to be an adult is right before puberty, because they trust you then, and they're going to believe you. After that, their peers become more important, but they want rules. And I guess this whole thing has one big caveat. Your kids need to know you like them.
Oh, yeah.
And you can't worry about whether they like you. They need to know you like them.
Can you say that again? That's really good.
But you can't worry about whether they like you. I hate you. That's fine. Go to your room anyway. You can't have fear that your kids don't like you. You may feel it, but you can't let them see it.
Fear in the eyes.
Yes, and because it'll stop you from saying what you need to say. But on the other hand, if you're always picking on them, the best rule for a dad with a daughter, and I wish I'd practiced this and known this rule. I learned it the hard way. Never tell them how they can improve on anything. I know there's people right now saying, what are you talking about? Just make that a rule. You can make exceptions to the rule, like schoolwork. If they're not doing their job with their schoolwork, let's sit down and talk about how you can do better. I guess let me say a different way. Your daughter is so sensitive to your critiques of her and any other woman in the world.
Because when you're critiquing another woman, you're de facto critiquing her.
And I don't know why women are like that. Women are strange, right, Sunshine? And they are like that. Your daughter doesn't think she's pretty, even when she's at her most beautiful. And as a dad or as a mom, the last thing she needs is a critic. And so you point out things you see about her that you like, and you convince her that you like her. Doesn't mean you don't correct her bad behavior. You always correct her when her mouth overrides her rear end, right? Always correct her. But, if she's not doing her chores, not keeping appointments, not doing her homework, that's breaking your word. You got to make her do that. But you don't got to sit around comparing her to another woman, telling her hair looks bad, telling her, why don't you do your hair like this, telling her, is that what your makeup looks like? Now, if she's about to go out dressed like a slut, you tell her, you are not going out like that. A man has to do that because the wife often won't. Some wives will. Most wives are like, what's wrong with that? And you're like, trust me, no. With my daughters, I let them buy expensive bathing suits when necessary. I was going to say every year, but when necessary, because I wouldn't let them wear just any bathing suit. No bikinis. And I had to approve of it. So that meant I had to open the budget so they could get one that they thought they looked nice in, because they want to look nice. And but if your daughter thinks she doesn't like you, she's not going to listen to you. And if your son thinks all you do is criticize him, nothing ever does is good enough, he's not going to like you. Then it really doesn't matter what you try to do. He's going to date who he wants.
Yeah.
And
sons need to think you're proud of them.
Sons need to, and remember, Dad, sons aren't good the first time they do it. Do what? Anything. So quit yelling at them There's a learning curve. Give him time. Praise everything he does right. When he throws the ball and he tries, but it goes nowhere, he goes, oh, I stink at this. That was actually a pretty good try. Let's keep going. When he drops the ball, oh, I'm sorry, I suck. No, it was a good try. Next time, just put your arms a little farther. I think you're doing fine. You need to be encouraging them. If they don't like you, they're not going to like your rules either. They'll be like, screw you and the horse you rode in on, even if they don't say it to your face.
I had this is for younger kids. This has been mostly about all different types of raising of children. This idea that
But you're raising husbands and wives, so...
Well, I thought this was a great analogy. If you want the social punishment of misbehavior, you want the social punishment of misbehavior to feel like getting removed from the Garden of Eden, which means there needs to be a Garden of Eden. Like, it has to be fun to be
gotcha.
in... Like, as a family, you need to be having fun, positive atmosphere. Like, this is the place you want to be.
Good graces with dad
and then
mom.
When something bad happens, I want to get back into the garden. And if there's no garden, then who cares if you're kicked out? Like, if this is a thorny prickle bush in here,
send me to my room. I don't like you people
I hate
anyway.
All you people. Right. So I always thought that was good. Like, if you want it to be a punishment to be removed from social unity in the household, then there has to be a positive experience being in the group.
And I never heard that. I like that. And also, we need to teach our kids that they're growing up to be mates, and that this matters, and that they're going to be raising children. It supports the bigger cause. God said, do this. It's a mandate to the earth. So you're supposed to do it if God gives you a mate and lets you be fertile. But second, you grow up better and faster if you marry someone that you can talk to and you stick together. Your life will be better, not worse. And you'll do better things for the earth by raising children like yourself. So, by the way, Sunshine, let's put her dad and mom on the spot. What rules did they have for dating when you were young? None? They said go get them?
I was going to say that was something that they didn't really talk to us about.
Well, what you somehow chose okay, I know you are married. Now your brother is married. Both of you, I know he dated within the church, Christian women, right? The two I know of.
Beep.
Yep.
Well, beep. You got to beep that out.
Yep.
Your brother, the two I know of, he dated within the church. Mm-hmm. And did you date non-believers?
No. Are you familiar with the term situationship?
No. Tell us what that is.
Yeah, I've never heard this either.
See how old he is?
I interviewed her husband before he was her husband.
Did you?
I thought you knew that, Will. Yeah. I mean, Mike. Yeah.
I grilled him.
I think you told me, but I forgot.
Behest of her father. At the behest of her father.
Oh, excellent. Her dad asked you?
No.
She
I called
asked.
you.
Her dad was wise enough to say.
Nope. My mom, actually.
Her mom was wise enough to say, you're probably going to disregard your dad's opinion anyway, so why don't you get some other men's opinions that you might actually listen to?
Well, did your mom say that to you?
Essentially, that's the story I got.
Kind of. She just said, what if you were to have one of the pastors, interview him? And
Why
I was
did you
like,
listen to your mom? Why did you listen to your mom? Why didn't you say, no, Mom, I'm not going to listen to you?
I could have, and she wouldn't have been offended. She didn't, make me do it.
My point is you had a relationship with your mom that's
yeah,
open
I had a good
enough
relationship with my parents at that point to where...
you'd listen to her advice.
Right.
So they may not have done it like I would do it, but they ended up at the same place. Why didn't... Now, let's go... What was this question you had? What was...
Situationship?
It's like you're not dating. It's like the talking stage. Have you heard of that?
No. Explain this to me. I'm old. I don't know these things.
It's like when you're not dating, but you're not just friends. You maybe talk more than just friends.
You can tell that there's a
Courting.
chemistry.
Yeah,
we used to call it courtship.
Yes.
There's an
not quite that.
electricity, there's a chemistry.
He's a
Sure.
dude. You're a chick.
Sure, yeah.
Sure, yeah, you old men. What do
Yeah.
you guys know?
But-
in my
Go
mind,
on, go on. I
Yeah.
want to hear this. Situation,
I guess I'm just
situationship. Does this mean if
exposing
you're
on the
in an
podcast.
elevator by yourself with him by accident, maybe we're supposed to get married? No, go ahead.
No, long story short, it didn't go well. I mean, nothing happened, but it ended poorly, and he was not a great guy.
So this is your first guy you dated?
But we weren't dating.
Okay. Was he a believer?
Claimed.
Where did you meet him? Here?
Work. No.
Work?
No. This was also when I didn't have the greatest relationship with my parents too.
Okay. So
You know.
So but
So I was in like
you
that
were cautious
rebellious,
anyway.
but I didn't like go. What?
You were cautious anyway.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Why were you cautious? Why didn't you just hop in the sack?
Because it's not what you're supposed to do.
She's such
I
a
don't
good
know,
girl.
and I just-
love her. Here's the answer. Find someone like Sunshine for your son. That's what you do.
there you go.
Well, that's good. So anyway,
Do we got any short ones left?
The only other one I was gonna ask was the Job one, but is that long?
No.
what's the Job?
That was the only other one.
Anthropomorphic language, analogical language in reference to God's emotions.
So
God was incited
ask me-
against Job.
We
by the
also
devil.
had one about drinking. That would take a while, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, we
I
could
saved that was a
pontificate
newer
on that.
one. I'm saving that for next one.
Okay, if you asked about drinking, I think it was Matt Unger. We haven't forgotten you, Matt, but
But
not this time.
essentially, spoiler alert,
No.
you were correct.
No, I don't know if he was.
I liked it.
He said maybe you should just never.
We'll talk about it
No,
next
if you were around people you thought you might make stumble.
No, I don't think he said that. I'll have to hear the question.
I
again.
think you're right, Matt, and I read your question more carefully.
Maybe I didn't read your question carefully enough. So we'll come back to that one. Okay, so you only have one question left?
I was gonna do one more.
What,
you
go
want to do
ahead.
one more?
Shoot. We'll
I can
take it.
remember it. I
Just-
can do it, I think, verbatim.
I'm ready. No, just let her
Okay,
ask whatever she wants.
so-
She's in control now. We've given control to our producer.
So it says, in my Bible reading, I read, and this is from Elijah Newton. He
Oh,
said, in
trouble.
my Bible reading, I read Job 2:3, and it says, and the Lord said to Satan, have you considered my servant Job, that there is nothing like him on earth, a blameless and upright man who fears God and turns away from evil. He still holds fast his integrity, although you incited me against him to destroy him without reason. So my question is, can you explain the word incited? It just seems to be a weird way to put it, especially for the fact that God was the one who brought up Job. I hope this makes sense.
Okay, first of all, Elijah Newton has the best mustache in the church. And we're going to be doing this men's man camp, also known as men's retreat. And there is a mustache and beard competition. And I really think he's got the mustache to beat. Now, I don't think he has a beard. Does Elijah have a beard right now? I don't think he does.
I don't think so.
But he's got one of those handlebars that you can twist up with the wax, and it's not as easy to do that as you think. I've tried. So he gets points just for that, no matter what the answer is. That's a good question because of your mustache. Now, as for the word incite, let me make the question harder, and we'll just throw it at Will and see what he says. He says, now, Job was just walking around the earth causing no one any trouble.
Being a good dude.
And
God said, look how good he is.
And God pointed to him. It's like he's like pointing a lion to a child. See that kid? You want to eat him, don't you? He points Satan to Job, and he says, now, by the way, he says, first, he seems to be picking the fight. Second, he implies that Satan wanted to kill him anyway. He says, you incited me against him to ruin him without cause. So, incited, what does incited mean? Can Satan emotionally motivate God to ruin other people? Can he manipulate them? Can he do emotional blackmail on them? Can he persuade God? Can Satan persuade God to do anything at all? And if so, why would he have him ruin Job? Because it sounds like that, doggone it. Me and my mustache are not happy.
No, I mean, he can attempt to. That doesn't mean he has the capability to actually incite the Lord. So that I looked
Well,
up.
it says you incited me. What
Yeah.
do you mean?
So incite would be provoke to action.
Okay.
To compel to do something. Normally, it also means like anger, I think. Well, it has a connotation.
Oh, yeah. You can make someone angry.
of angry. So, yeah, it's like you're trying to stir me up against this guy. So that's the word incite. What's your other part of the question?
Well, wait a minute. Did he stir God up? And did God wrong Job by pointing him out to Satan? And second, was Satan able to get God to do what he wanted him to do?
No, God didn't do Job wrong, because that's like the point of the story is I'm God and you're Job. So I take that as just axiomatic.
Right.
No, God did not do wrong.
Because he doesn't do wrong.
Because he doesn't do wrong.
Well, we could do the whole question like that. Of course, Satan can't make God do anything.
And of course, Satan can't make God do anything.
You can't manipulate God into doing anything.
Correct.
So why does it say it like that?
Yeah.
Though you incited me against him to ruin him without cause.
So this is like a bigger picture question in my mind, because to me, I think one of the more powerful passages to ask essentially the same question on is, and you have to help me out where it is. In Genesis, before the flood, God regretted making man, right? He
repented of making man. Regret. Well, yeah, whatever.
He had remorse.
Yes.
We'll use that word, synonym. He had remorse for man. Did God actually feel bad? Did he have second thoughts? Did God not know what was
God never
gonna?
had second thoughts.
Was he gonna not know what man was gonna do when he made?
No, he knew.
Man, he knew. So how is he experiencing regret, right, or remorse? And so you see a lot of passages in the Bible where God is given human emotions, and I think that's because, as I have learned, because God's talking to humans, and it's hard for us. It's not hard. I think we've talked about it on here before. It's impossible for us as finite creatures to comprehend, to fully get our arms around God and what he's like. Like, the way it was presented to me in school is you apprehend God. It's like touching. You can touch. You can't wrap your arms all the way around. The difference between apprehend and comprehend. And so the language of emotion, God having remorse over creating man because he had become so wicked in the Noah story, is that's us to help us as humans understand where we stand relative to God. Because we know what it's like to be remorseful, right? We know what it's like to be angry or to have regret, and that's the best way for us to understand in that story. You can't even how God feels towards us. It's like I was educated in a way that God doesn't have feelings in the same way we do.
How do you know that, though?
Well, again, right?
How do you know we don't have feelings like he does? Turn it around. I mean,
Say that again. How do we know?
He doesn't have feelings. We don't have feelings like he does.
Yeah, well...
Does he have joy? Analogically speaking, he has great joy. We have a little bit of joy.
Right. Right.
So he can feel bad about the sins of mankind, but you can't say that he didn't see it coming, and that he didn't even ordain it. His feelings, God's emotions, are something that I can't understand.
Right, and so when they talk about passions,
mine whip me around.
That's it. He's not moved because of his all-knowing, all-powerful. What's the word we just talked about the other day? I'm sick. Foreknowledge. Foreknowing, not just in foreknowledge, but foreordaining.
Yes.
He's not moved by his passions in the same way we are.
Yeah.
Right. Generally, when you say, I saw that beaten up dog on that commercial and it spurred me to give money to the ASPCA, right? It's, well, God's not, his mind isn't changed by his emotions because he foreordained all things in advance.
So human emotions and our mind, our intellect, are connected. We seem to understand that things work better when our mind takes the lead without the emotions pushing it around. But we also know,
I think the Bible even exhorts us to that.
The emotions we love best are the ones that overwhelm us, even they go beyond our thinking. Right? You're at a concert or you see something of beauty, and before your thoughts can catch up, the next thing you know, you're feeling joyous and overwhelmed. So I guess what I'm saying is our emotions and our mind are not completely in sync. And that's probably because we're fallen. But I'd have to assume that God's emotions and his intellect are in sync. So his emotions always behave exactly the way they should behave, and his mind always exactly the way it should. All this in someone who doesn't change. I've heard people say God has no emotions. I have difficulty with that because the Word of God shows him having emotions all the time. I think there's another issue here, though, and that is what is revealed truth here. Yes?
Well, before we move on to the Job passage, you quickly threw out the analogical language. I think you said analogous.
Yes.
Do you want to define that real quick? As opposed to what?
As opposed to digital. No.
Yeah.
Analogical would be small versus big, really, is an analogy. You're tall. Among the people at Harvest, you're tall. But if we compare you to skyscrapers, you're little. That's analogous language. Tall can go on a guy who's 6 foot. How tall are you? 2?
1.
Tall can go on a guy who's 6'1", and it can go on a building that's 100 stories high. But clearly, that's much bigger. So when we think of God in analogous language, he can love, and you can love. And it could be the same, we could guess it's the same thing.
Type of thing.
But you're outweighed by him. And when I think of analogous language, I think that's what theologians mean when they say it's analogous language.
When I learned it, so there's 3 types of voice. We've talked about equivocation on here before.
Yes.
When you use 2 totally different definitions for the same word
or term,
and it confuses a discussion.
Yes.
Because you're talking about.
Just happened. We had this guy in yesterday or this past weekend when we're recording this. Those 2 Muslims came and shot up those Jews on the beach in Australia. And then a Muslim guy jumps in to attack one of the gunners, right? And then people on X right away were saying, see, Muslims don't kill Jews, they save Jews. Well, that's equivocating. Yes, 1 Muslim saved some Jews and 2 Muslims were killing Jews. So you're equivocating. Muslims kill Jews.
Yeah,
it's the same thing. You're changing the ground there. Anyway, go ahead.
So that's not the same at all. Equivocal, you're not meaning the same thing at all. When you say high, I could mean high on drugs or high up in the air.
Right.
And then univocal means perfect overlap. When I'm describing Mike's love, it is the same in quality and quantity as when I'm describing God's love, right?
Which isn't true.
Isn't true. And so you have to say that descriptions of God in the Bible aren't univocal because we can't describe God exactly like we describe a human, but they can't be equivocal either, or we can't know anything about God. If what I'm trying to say about God is nothing like Mike's love, well, then I know nothing about God's love. So they have to be some overlap, but not perfect overlap, and that's where the analogical language comes in.
Right, and we're made in God's image so we can talk, he can talk. We can think, he can think. We can feel, he can feel. We can love, and he can love.
I like that perfect alignment of the intellect with the emotions.
Yeah, he never gets whipped around by his emotions. We always do.
In Bible language, you often hear like heart versus head.
Yeah.
Or that's very classical language too. Man's chest versus a man's
sometimes
head.
we do not feel enough. That's probably as often as my emotions whip me around. My emotions probably don't whip me enough.
Particularly when you sin.
Oh yeah, when you sin, you should be horrified, and I'm not. When you hear about tragedies, you should be devastated. When you hear good things, you should be over the moon. We are weak creatures, says C.S. Lewis, in that sense. We do not feel enough.
Okay, so I pulled you away from going back to
okay.
Job.
So here's the deal. I want to point out something else to my mustached friend. God manipulates Satan and uses him as he wishes. We know from Romans 8:28 that God causes all things to work together for good to those who love God and are called according to his purpose. So that includes Job. So this episode with Satan is for Job's good. Secondly, we know from 1 Corinthians 10:13, no temptation has overtaken you, but such as is common to man, and God is faithful, who will not allow you to be tempted beyond what you're able.
Will provide you with a way of escape.
That's right. So
that
God
you
is
will
the one
be able to endure it.
determining the distance Satan can go with anybody. And if he wasn't, we could imagine that all of us would destroy ourselves or the person sitting next to us, then ourselves, because he's a murderer. Satan's a murderer, and he wants us all dead. So God's limiting Satan. The only one we think gets Satan full force as a man was Jesus, and he was able to take it. The rest of us, it's limited. So God was manipulating Satan to do a good deed in the life of Job. In this text, he pointed Job to him for Job's good. Now you might say, how could it be for Job's good?
Pointed Satan to Job.
Yes, to Satan to Job for Job's good. Now we would say it's not to Job's good because his children died and he got sick and all this bad stuff. Well, if Job's entire life is on this earth, you're right, it's not for his good. But if God has bigger plans, and a God who sees all says it is for his good, then it is. And you might say, well, I don't think I agree. Now you're sitting in Job's seat.
Or God's seat.
Well, Job would later turn around and go, well, God, I'm not sure why you're doing this.
How can this be good?
Why don't you give me an explanation? And God said, oh, do I have to answer to you? How about you answer to me? Where were you when I did this? Where were you when I did that? So this is really God manipulating the devil. God is in complete control from beginning to end, as the book will tell you at the end. It tells you. God says, I'm in control of everything. I put the stars up there, and I'm handling Satan too. So
it's almost like feigning. So then God saying, oh, you incited me against him. It's like...
He's not even saying it worked.
Throw me into that briar patch.
All he's doing is tell... That's right. No one knows that story because it's racist now. But
I still have the book.
Don't lose it. So he's saying you incited me. He's not saying it was effective at all. He's saying you want to kill Job, don't you? You want me to kill Job. You want Job dead. Who's in control of whether Job gets hurt? You know, you can say, well, Satan is because God. Yes, but God gave him that control. God is in control
and could revoke it.
Yeah, you go ahead and incite God all you want. He's going to do what he wants to do. By the way, Sunshine, did you know the Brer Rabbit stories? They read them to me in school.
I have my mother. I don't have it currently. It's at her house. But Brer Rabbit and Brer Fox. And the rabbit's always trying to convince the fox.
Well, there's Brer Rabbit, Brer Bear, and Brer Fox. And this is tales probably written by a slave or an ex-slave. Probably. Uncle Remus tales. I don't remember. We could look it up. Who wrote Uncle Remus tales? But Brer means brother, right?
I don't know.
Yeah, it does. That's why they call him Brer Rabbit, Brother Rabbit. It's a slang Southern black word, in the author's mind. Brer Rabbit, brother, and so Brother Rabbit, Brother
Fox,
Brother Bear, and Brother Bear and Brother Fox are always trying to catch Brer Rabbit and kill him and eat him and do horrible things to him.
And the fox catches the rabbit, and then it's kind of like Roadrunner and Coyote. He's thinking of all these mean, evil ways to bring the rabbit to his demise. And the rabbit says, I'd much prefer that than you throwing me in that briar patch.
Yeah, he says, we could
whatever
cook
you do, you could cook me, just don't throw me in that briar patch.
Don't throw me in that there briar patch.
And so they goes through a bunch of iterations of this, just whatever you do, I'd rather be boiled or whatever, all the things he's talking about, just don't throw me in the briar patch.
Okay. Yeah.
And so the fox finally says, well, geez, I'm going to do the meanest thing to you possible, throw you in the briar patch, because that's what he seems most afraid of, and it's a trick the whole time.
He throws him in.
Because that's where the rabbit is safe. And
yes,
the fox can't
he
come
goes,
get him.
He runs out going, I was born and raised in this here briar patch.
Yes.
And he, by the way,
dances around.
Uncle Remus is the fictional character created by the American journalist and author Joel Chandler Harris, 1848 to 1908. He is depicted as wise, elderly, formerly enslaved African-American man who narrates folk tales on the Georgia plantations to a young white boy. So that's where it comes from. Uncle Remus was not a real person. He didn't write the Brer Rabbit stories. He's the fictional narrator within them.
Oh, cool.
And as you can imagine, these books are banned today because everyone's woke. But there's a lot of Uncle Remus stories, and they're delightful, actually. And I don't see why they'd be thought of as racist, except for
there's one. I have one. There's a tar baby in it.
But the tar baby is.
It's not even a reference.
It's a black. It's black. Tar is black, so they made a baby out of tar, and that way the fox did to catch the rabbit. And when the rabbit talks the baby, it won't talk back, so he hits it or something. His hand gets stuck, and the other hand gets. I don't remember how he got out of that.
That's how the fox catches him.
Yeah. So it's the stories themselves are
not racist.
They're entertaining, but I guess because you have a black slave talking to a white boy, and he's not calling him a colonist and getting his pound of flesh on him. Apparently he's an ex-slave, it says here. Those books have been banned. That I learned them in grade school. They were read to me. And those stories stick with you when you learn them as a kid. They're good stories.
All right.
Yeah.
We got to go. We out of time.
Well, that was a lot of fun. Do you feel any better or worse?
I feel
worse.
better.
You'll feel worse now. You got your adrenaline going.
I'll feel worse when we walk out of here.
As soon as you relax, you're going to be like, oh, man, I got to go to bed. Maybe you should just go home and go to bed.
Nah, I got a banquet tonight.
You
to
don't
go
have to
get
go.
everybody sick at.
No, just go home and go to bed. All right, everybody, we're going to bed. Well, we're not going to bed.
Hey, more questions, though. We
never go to bed together. He goes to bed by himself or with his wife.
Yeah.
And that's that. You can add more questions. This was round 1. In a few weeks, we'll do round 2.
See you, everybody.
Bye.